If you want to know exactly how to structure your answers, manage your time, and score in the top percentage of the CIMA Management Case Study exam, this video is for you. Hi everyone, I'm Belle from Astranti, and I recently sat down with Courtney, one of our highest achieving students, to see exactly how she did it. She breaks down her entire study routine and her exam day techniques that got her such a great result. So you can do the same with your own prep. Let's get straight to
it. Story, actually, I didn't know. So they tell you, I think it's a few weeks after you get the mark in the first place. So it actually went into my junk mail. So I'd only actually just caught the email. It was like, I think maybe 5 weeks after I got the result. And then, yeah, I just shared it with everyone in the office because I couldn't believe it. Like when I seen the mark, I thought, oh, that's pretty good, but didn't think it was going to be that good. So yeah, it was quite overwhelming because I've never had that good of a score before. So it was really good. The exam came round, I felt super ready. I'd been really well prepared with all the materials that Astranti had given. So when I went in, I didn't feel like there was any more I could do than just what I was writing. So by like the fourth question, I'd written so much that I actually was like, I don't know, I feel like I can't write anything else. Things just kept coming to me. And but it was one of those that, you know, because you wait so long for the result, you're never too sure. So I felt good coming out, but just in the wait for the result, I kept talking myself out of what else I could have wrote, or what I should have written in a certain part, or maybe I got the wrong standard. And but when I was doing it, I just kept writing, and it felt really good because I was never stuck like at a moment where it was just sitting staring at it. Like I just kept writing, and I thought that it was going well, but again, I didn't think it was even possible to go that well. Actually prefer this type of exam, like a written exam, than a multiple choice. I always seem to overthink a multiple choice where I know the answers in front of me, and if I'm like, I don't know which one it is, whereas with the written ones, I felt like there was always something I could write down, and because it's not negatively marked, there was no wrong answer really. So it's like just write down what you could, and if you'd wrote enough, you could always scrape through, even if the theory wasn't quite up to scratch. So I kind of thought just apply like real life to it in a way, and I think that really helped me just to keep writing until the timer just ran out basically, and just make sure I'd had a lot down and followed a lot of like the way that Astranti teach you to do like the mock exams, and try and break it up more into paragraphs. So I think I went in prepared so that I didn't feel uncomfortable at all. I actually felt a lot better in the case study opposed to the objective ones. The pre-scene every night before bed, I kind of used it as like a nightly read in my bed every night, and the more I read it, the quicker I would get through it, but it would ingrain in my brain more, but it actually felt like I worked for them at one point. So I kind of just used that just to make sure I read it enough and I knew what things without having to refer back to it. And even though I knew you would get it in the exam, I didn't want to waste time searching through. So it was one thing I set was to read it inside out every night, and then come the end of the study and put it into like brief notes into what the important parts were, and try and like, you know, work out what kind of questions they could ask based on the company that they were and what was likely to come up. So yeah, reading it every night was really helpful. Mock exams, because they were human marked as well, and you would get actual feedback, and you get the 3 in it, and it's obviously you can get more, but even the 3 was really helpful to go from one to the next, to know what you were missing in the first one and what to put in the second, and then come the third, like just build it as like building blocks and kind of use that to gain the advantage of having that. I don't think it would have been manageable without having the mock exams. The mock exams to be more difficult, which isn't a bad thing. I actually quite liked, because I felt, although I did actually do quite well in my mocks, when I sat down in the real exam, I thought, oh, this is really helpful from learning in my mocks. This was the feedback I got, so I managed to actually squeeze in some of the feedback that I got in relation to some of the questions I was getting, so it made it a lot easier to write stuff and kind of expand on it based on feedback that I'd received. The feedback's given in two different ways. Like, they write on the mock that you write and you send to them, and then they give you like an Excel breakdown of each individual technique and like the theory use and the way it's written. It really helped, because sometimes I maybe wasn't splitting up enough paragraphs where it could lead to the marker getting lost in what I was trying to say. So they helped break the structure up a lot better so that you could form an answer clearer, which would help when the real marker was doing it for the real exam. Using subheadings and paragraphs per point I thought was really useful, because it allows you, where maybe CIMA don't expect that, it kind of gives you more, so you write more, so that gives you like a better chance overall. And then it really helped structure it. So when I was doing my plan and they said to break it up into subheadings of the point you were making, and then like wee bullet points of like expanding it out, then when it came to having finished the plan and writing it, it was all set. So it was just a case of just expanding on the original point that was in the plan, which I thought was really helpful. Like, sometimes you might never feel prepared, but just ensure that for me, I always studied in a quiet place. Like, I couldn't have any noise anywhere. So the one thing I would say is just learn the pre-scene and refer to it as much as you can, because it shows you understand the company. So where even that you might struggle in theory, as long as you have a little bit of referral to the unseen you get on the day and the pre-scene that's given to you weeks in advance, it always helps pick up some extra marks that might make up for lack of theory in some areas. I used the premium course for every one I did. So I did the certificate, and then I did the objective one and the management, and finished off the strategic, and all 3 case studies I passed first time. And maybe not all with a fourth in the world, but they were all comfortable passes, because I went in feeling really good. And I don't think any other course that wasn't as much material as Astranti give would have been as helpful, like, because I used Astranti solely and I don't feel like I needed anything else. Finished the strategic course. I just got my result through in April, so I sat the February one, and then I did all the practical things, so everything's finished. But I feel like using the same study provider where I was feeling comfortable with, if I needed help, go to the tutors, or any of the mentors were always very welcoming from any calls that we had, that I knew that staying on that like path from straight through to the end of strategic was really helpful, because I kind of knew the materials, I knew what I was getting and where to look for things. But had I not, the mentors and the tutors were really good, and having like Google Classrooms where you can put questions in or see other students' questions is really helpful, because it just expands maybe where if you don't want to ask a kind of question, someone else might have. So yeah, it's really good, and it's really consistent throughout all the levels. I actually just changed to FLP for the strategic level. Okay, so one of the girls I work with, she's done the whole lot through FLP, so I'd sat a lot and thought about it, because sometimes like the objective ones, it's quite a high pass mark being 70%. Like, timing was really difficult with the objective ones, because a lot of it is like calculations that take a few minutes to work out. So that was just like, it was getting me down at times because I was like, I know I can do it. And then when it came to the case studies, I was always comfortable. So then when I sat and spoke to her and asked how it worked, and like, you know, because I'm kind of was scared of thinking you just get everything. But again, I was quite strict on myself with a study pattern. So I was like, because I worked full time, I don't get any time out of work. So it was like, I'd finish work at 4 and then I'd study till 7 maybe, on like certain days. And it was really helpful doing that. And I knew I'd get through it quicker than spending time trying to get an extra mark out of an objective test. But yeah, just with anyone that struggles with objective tests, I would say like the FLP is definitely a lot handier, because although you still have the online assessments, you're not like getting beat up by the fact you're missing out by a point or 2 points every time.
I absolutely love hearing stories like Courtney's, and honestly, you can totally get a result like that too. To help you get the ball rolling, definitely go grab our free mini mock exam over on our website. If you want to go all in, our full premium course is brilliant. Completely breaks down the pre-seen materials for you, gives you all the core study texts, and shows you exactly how to handle your exam technique. Or you can check out our flexible FLP route if you want to skip those objective tests. Everything is linked in the description below. And I'll catch you in the next video.